I have a decent question to ask about Joe Rogan and Joe Budden comparison-wise. Comparison-wise, but maybe we can save it till next week because this is like an evergreen question.
Okay.
That's a perfect phrase.
You want to touch on that Rock interview real quick?
That's what I was talking. The Rock interview was going to segue me into expectations that people have for Joe Budden, not touching on. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of a fire concept. Okay. It's like, all right, let's just do it. Let's just do it.
He couldn't help it.
I couldn't help it just because it's like, okay, so Joe Rogan interviewed The Rock. I didn't watch the whole thing. I did see a couple clips though.
The Rock interviewed Joe Rogan.
The Rock interview Joe. I mean, this is what the people are saying.
Okay, I didn't watch it yet, but I'm gonna watch it now.
This is what the people are saying. The people are saying that Joe Rogan took a real lackadaisical back seat.
It's like he didn't take his nootropics right before. Like
it's like he didn't.
Brain vitamins.
Yeah, he didn't smell the salt. You know what I'm saying? It was just like
no ice bath.
And when I did, out of the clips that I did see, they were just clips. So I guess it was kind of like. I guess I was kind of thrown off on the whole vibe of it because the clips, it seemed like a decent exchange, but apparently when you watch it more long form, it was like Joe wasn't himself. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody was here. There was no personalities.
Yeah,
really?
Nobody was themselves in this interview. It was like we're agreeing to come together because we're two of the biggest. Period. It's almost
because
like
the world wants us to do this.
The world wants us to do this, but we don't really want to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Or even if we do really want to talk to each other, we can't ask each other the stuff that we want.
It's not.
The conversation we should have, we can't have on air because we're too important.
It's like, I want to talk to you. It's just like, I didn't want this to be the reason for us to like talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
it might be the reason behind like what you said.
No, I think it's more so The Rock is a social experiment. Like I watched that whole episode and I was like, he didn't say not one thing that he either liked or disliked. Like no matter what the conversation was, it was like, what's going on with that? How did it happen?
Yeah.
That's good right there and that's bad right there. But you're not gonna know what The Rock feels about this shit.
No, yeah.
The Rock ain't said a motherfucking opinion that whole time.
But the reason
I was like, nigga, just say like you don't like something. Like
that's because of where he is.
But shout out to Too Lazy to Try. This is the video that I saw. The reason that he laid out in this video that he didn't is because The Rock views running for presidency in his future. He said it's not off the table. So I think what it is, Too Lazy to Try is pretty much laying out that The Rock's not trying to have no real firm or hard opinion on anything because he don't want to lose.
But you got to understand,
that's what's gonna make him lose.
Nah, Arnold Schwarzenegger laid the foundation for this nigga. Like a big buff nigga being something better than a big buff nigga.
That's true.
Like so he's just gonna try to become a governor or mayor of Hawaii.
No. He's talking. No. He's going for president. He made that clear.
For president,
he's president of the United States because it wasn't eligible for Arnold Schwarzenegger. But Arnold Schwarzenegger did kind of set the blueprint by reaching governor. Because to be fair, I was younger. I don't know. He might not have had no strong opinions. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
We wasn't allowed to pay attention to that
and it's just like I was too young to know what he was running off of.
If he did, it was behind his accent. Like who can hear that shit?
That's what I'm saying. We can't even understand what the fuck I'm saying.
You don't even necessarily need a strong opinion. You just have to have an opinion. Like you're gonna go into debate stages. They're gonna ask you, what do you think we should do about climate change? You can't just be like, well, some people think climate change is good. Some niggas think it's bad.
But he's probably gonna keep it centered around political topics like that.
Don't pull he's not pulling his cards too early because he doesn't know what his fight is gonna be.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So it's best to stay in the middle.
This is kind of crazy because he also said like he wouldn't run for president. He said I wouldn't rule it out. I don't know how old The Rock is right now, but he was made it seem like there's another 10 to 15 years before he considers that. So it's like, damn, nigga, you pulling punches really early. Like, it sounded like you're giving yourself 10 more years before you would even consider it. And it's like, yeah, you're silencing yourself already 10 years prior. You know what I'm saying? But now
he'd be a terrible leader.
Another thing that people were like disappointed. This is how much of a disappointment this episode was. To sum it up, if you know Joe Rogan, he's gonna bring up steroids, and he said for years like, oh yeah, there's no way The Rock isn't on steroids, and they didn't talk about steroids at all. So that was one of those.
You just reminded. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What?
You just reminded me of a greater point I was about to get to earlier. The thing, I feel like Joe Rogan he's getting a little bit of unnecessary criticism because he has a guest that he knows I can ask you all these questions.
Yeah.
You just gonna give me the rigmarole, the runaround bullshit. Like The Rock isn't gonna state what he feels about something. So what's even the point?
Well,
Nah, that's not true. Because
It is true.
we get value out of interviews where we know. It's like that's half of Vlad's interviews with street niggas. It's like him asking a police ass question and they having this I don't know what you're talking about moment.
But we know that we expect that from Vlad. You don't go on Joe Rogan to get a gotcha moment. Like he kind of tries to stray away all the way from that just to keep his platform open to everybody.
But Joe Rogan, he never takes that angle as like a gotcha moment.
That's my point.
It's genuine, natural conversation. But they talked about working out in this conversation.
It just
Yeah,
never
they talked
came
about
up.
working out
But
with
all
Shane
of a sudden, you forget.
And what it probably
Steroids,
is,
you know what I'm
for the
saying?
most part, is probably, his manager. For all we know, like somebody could have told Joe,
There was
like, look,
definitely-
Joe, I know
Yeah.
you're not this type of nigga, but we can't
A
talk
prior
about
conversation.
this.
Yeah, there was
and
definitely
knowing
some prior
Joe,
conversation.
like, especially in this game, like if you're about to talk to somebody and somebody tells you can't say something, it's like
That's
let's
probably what
do
it was,
I guess.
'cause you're saying
that
now
will
you
fuck
started
your,
it off
that,
like
that will fuck your podcast vibe up if before we roll your PR, your manager,
Says,
whatever,
yeah.
gives me a list of bullshit
you
that I
get what I'm
can't say.
saying?
That
So
will
it
fuck
just
your
makes
vibe.
you all
Like it was moments where Joe Rogan is avoiding asking the question in this moment. You could tell.
Yeah.
Like you could just feel it based off the energy. He gave a little little fake laugh to clear up some dead air.
So do you think? So this goes back to my evergreen question. Do you think that we go too hard on Joe Budden because they made it seem like Joe Budden, you're not going in on Diddy the right way? Like niggas are kind of. I mean, they gonna let Joe Rogan slide on this shit. Why don't they let Diddy? Why don't they let Joe Budden slide on the Diddy shit?
Because it's not the same days. It's not the same people saying that shit.
What you mean?
Whoever cares about this Joe Rogan and The Rock interview probably doesn't also give a fuck about Diddy's world. You get what I'm saying? It's two different demographics.
Demographics.
I'm in both
The two-
demographics.
Yeah, we're in both demographics, but we're not the normal.
I don't know, nigga.
We're not the average.
I'm a wrestling rock fan. I'm a movie rock fan. I'm a Diddy music fan. I'm a Diddy business fan.
Everybody-
I'm fully invested on both
everybody
sides.
is a multi-dimensional human being.
Yeah,
Is that?
But-
Is that?
So the question is like, why don't we? Well, first of all,
Why do you think 'cause
Joe
it was-
Rogan has been speaking his mind for years
Okay.
on a podcast tip. Joe Budden kind of just started
Nah, he's been doing that for a long time.
6-8 years.
Yeah, how long has the Joe Budden podcast? When did he?
6-8 years is a long time.
I think he's almost at 10.
Yeah,
He's almost at 10.
He's almost
Probably,
at 10?
probably like 7 to 8
But
years,
he was
somewhere
on
in
the,
that
he was
range.
doing shit on the internet
But he
on
was-
his own.
It's 7
was-
because
he was doing shit.
From our name. Oh yeah, Brilliant
Brilliant
Idiots
Idiots has been 7 to 8 years, and Joe Rogan's been before everybody. He has
No,
like 3,000.
Joe Budden.
Oh,
Sorry.
Joe Budden. Okay,
Budden. Joe Budden timeline wise. Joe Rogan, he's at like 20 years.
yeah,
Yeah, I
the
was
nigga's
about
at
to say,
20.
Yeah, he's at
Yeah.
like 20, but Joe Budden is at like 8 years,
8,
7, 8
10.
years.
Well, let's just say
Let's just say
8.
Yeah, let's say
but
8.
like
Just put him
that's
on.
still a
That's
lot
a-
less time than Joe Rogan.
True.
And then like, was Joe the nigga? I don't know, man.
Joe kind of maybe he was less afraid. Maybe Joe Budden was less afraid because there was a lot of hype around the Joe Budden Diddy
Diddy thing.
podcast. And maybe he did that on purpose, created that hype and that atmosphere, even though niggas were mad, but he did all that extra shit, editing it out, leaking it. We know the nigga released the shit. It's like, like nobody leaks anything. I
Right,
just don't
right.
believe that at all.
Right.
So it's like maybe he did that just to sell the episode. But people were still pissed. Like they were holding
But I mean, they
this,
took the leak down though, so I don't know. Maybe
because
of
it
the
doesn't
backlash.
take long.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long. When
True,
you're
true,
famous,
true.
a leak only has to live on the internet for 35
That's true.
seconds
That's
and
true.
it's been ripped 7,000 times. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And then the type of nigga that fucking Budden is,
yeah.
he's just like he's like a I speak my mind and I yell it
That's
type of
true.
nigga.
That is
so
true.
it's like when he
Rogan-
doesn't yell or speak his mind about something that
We are going to hold him to
that it's like, nigga,
They
you
give
should
him-
be yelling right
They
now.
give him flack because of what he says about other people. But it's like, as a podcaster, when your man or somebody comes into question at some point, it's gonna, you know what I'm saying? That's why you always talk about not making friends too much. You know what I'm saying? Because
damn near impossible, yeah.
because you're gonna have to
keep
say
the same
certain
energy.
things exactly to keep the same energy. So when you have a relationship, at the end of the day, you're gonna tone it down a little bit.
Yeah. It's just normal. Like if you know the nigga,
Yeah. But damn, not pressing the rock, though. Joe.
Do they have a relationship?
but
Are they
at the
homies?
same time, it's like, what can he say that doesn't just ruin The Rock's
Rock's.
life. Because you gotta understand, everything about The Rock is steroids at this point. It's this. It's literally this.
And
you
The
know,
Rock, and
maybe
The
some
Rock has a
cool-
really clean image too.
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah,
his
really
image is like his father was like this outstanding guy. He was a cool wrestler.
Yeah,
He's one of the best clean images too. Like he can come out of nowhere with like a random F-bomb, fuck you, and it'd still be cool.
Now
He's so
he
clean,
could take
he's
a
so-
leap.
yeah.
He could take a leap, a risk, in like actually standing on steroids because he could be the nigga that like completely
Normalizes it.
because it's The Rock.
Because it's The Rock for sure.
But that's a little bit too risky. Who wants a roided up president or a mayor potentially,
That's true.
or who
We
did
have
roid in
one
the
right
past?
That nigga's not on roids.
He
Not
should be.
roids, but they're giving him everything that they can to keep him standing.
yeah, he might be
That's
on
true.
something. Yeah.
He's really going through it. I don't know what Joe Biden is just this shit just looks bad out there.
Nah. Out of all the Joes we just talked about, he's
Biden.
the one that can't meet his expectations.
Yeah,
Out of all the Joes we talked about,
we got to be hard
His
on that nigga.
expectations are too high.
But wait, so
Yeah.
nobody's giving Joe Rogan flack for this?
No, they are. There's a whole video about this.
they are.
Okay,
It's a whole
okay,
video
okay,
on
Most
it,
fakest
yeah.
podcast of all time.
Oh, but you're saying that we shouldn't have given Joe as much flack.
Possibly.
Or Buddy.
Yeah. I don't know. I didn't really work out the framing of it.
I get what you
No,
just
but we get it.
you
Through the
saw where I was
conversation,
going,
the
though.
premise was
Yeah,
solid.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
like
yeah.
I was a-
expectations for the Joes.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah,
solid
yeah,
premise.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah, because you did frame it like it was racist at first. Like, why is Joe Rogan not getting the
I
smoke
didn't know
that
what
Joe
angle
Budden
I
was
should have
getting?
spun it at it for.
Yeah.
It's just so many we can go with. It's just like I just didn't want to forget it. You know what I'm
But we
saying?
here,
Like,
yeah, you know.
yeah. So I thought it was decent. You know what I'm saying? But
This is exactly what I expected from a Joe Rogan and The Rock interview.
yeah, that's crazy.
This is literally what I thought was going to happen.
can't be.
No, exactly. To a T.
Well, I'm gonna watch it.
They was gonna talk about the origins of his wrestling and all that shit. They was gonna talk about some cool, cute things, but they never gonna really discuss nothing that matters.
yeah.
I wonder who The Rock was before Disney. You know what I mean? Like I wonder,
was a
like
wrestler.
He was probably just
yeah.
a fat Polynesian kid.
I mean,
I don't know. He's a
I
wrestler.
know his finishing move, but
Oh,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
as far as like, like I know who he was. Trust me,
Think
nigga.
deeper, nigga.
Right,
But like,
right.
as far as like who he was,
Who the person
like if he
was.
was just like the type of nigga to even say nigga, like what's up,
Right,
nigga?
right. Yeah,
You know what I
true,
mean?
true. I see what you're saying.
'Cause
He
I
Yeah,
don't
bought a
see it
car
in
from
him.
a crackhead.
Yeah. What?
He bought a car from a crackhead. He said that on Joe Rogan
yeah.
for $40.
He used to open up cans of whoop ass.
And he said for $40.
Yeah.
I'm surprised not 100, knowing how great he is. He just wanted to give extra money to the
He
crackhead.
was only gonna give it to me for 40, but I said I have 100,
I have
and you're really blessing me.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're right.
You're not addicted, just sick.
All right,
Some money
let's,
for a minute.
let's get to this next thing. We're gonna move through these.